Hi, this is Catherine from Content Accelerators, and I want to introduce you to this brand new package all about creating habits. Since this bundle might be a little different from PLR you've used before, I wanted to show you what's included as well as give you some ideas of how you can put this to use in your business. The topic of habits is highly flexible because you can apply it to almost any niche, particularly niches where practice is involved. Fitness, weight loss, and productivity are three obvious niches. But people also practice mindfulness, they practice gratitude, they practice yoga. People learning an instrument need to be disciplined and practice consistently. People learning to do hand lettering need to practice in order to improve. So there are just a few examples of how habits can be applied to establishing a practice of something. And I hope that gets your wheels turning as to how you might apply this topic of creating habits to your own niche. So let's take a look at what's inside. The big difference from most PLR that you're going to notice is that these are not fully written articles, but instead are detailed outlines. My goal is to make the process of writing an article much faster, but still give you the latitude to write an original article in your own voice. If you already fully rewrite PLR paragraph by paragraph, you'll find it's not much different to create an article from these. If you've been worried in the past about using PLR due to duplicate content concerns, by using outlines, it's highly unlikely someone will write the exact same article from these as you. So as I said, these articles are in small silos, and within each article I have given you suggestions. If there's a place that you can interlink to another article in the pack, I have put that right in the content. And then I've given you some SEO information. I have run this main keyword through a few different keyword tools, as well as a questions tool and an on-page optimization tool. And I give you some words for optimizing the title and your meta description, as well as some other related keywords that you can either throw in there or use to maybe come up with some additional H2 headings, or even a way, in the case of this article, to niche down the article even further. We've got keystone habits for parents as a search term and keystone habits for weight loss. So you could actually turn this article into an article about keystone habits for weight loss and just apply the principle of keystone habits to that niche. So besides using Research Tool, I also manually looked at the first page of Google results and looked at what topics were covered in order to determine the searcher intent. And from there, I fleshed these out into fully researched outlines for you. If there's a place in the outlines where I am referring to a specific piece of information, I give you the link that I used right at the place where I used it. So that way you can quote the sources, and these, as much as possible, are high quality sources like government or educational sites. If there's a product that you can promote, I suggest that as an affiliate link opportunity and give you a link to the product that I think you could refer to. Now, sometimes when you read somebody else's notes, things aren't clear if you didn't do the research. So to help you out there, also, I have included examples where I think that they will help to clarify the concept for you. You're welcome to use those examples in your article, or you can substitute them with your own examples. So my hope is that these outlines should speed up your content creation significantly, allowing you to create an article in your own words much faster than if you had to do all the research yourself and look at all the SEO information, and certainly much cheaper than hiring even a trustworthy VA to do this research for you. They've been carefully put together looking at keywords, auto-suggest, questions people asked, searcher intent, internal linking opportunities, and quality external links. And there's a lengthy pillar post included, which is over 1,700 words, and that's just the outline, as well as a mix of how-to and list posts, so you've got some good variety. Next, we have what I'm calling a report, but you can really use this in quite a few different ways. It's a list of 51 habits for healthy living, and each habit has a few sentences about it for a total of 3,400 words. The list is divided into sections. We have physical habits, habits for good mental well-being, fitness habits, eating habits, physical well-being habits, as well as a couple other miscellaneous good habits to have. You could take each one of those sections and create additional list posts out of them. Or you could add an introduction and conclusion to this and put it out as a lead magnet, or use it in total as another long-form piece of content on your blog. You could expand the description of each of these habits and turn this into a book. You could take each habit and turn it into a social media post. You could expand on each habit and create a weekly email on a new habit for almost a whole year. A lot of these tips could give you ideas for niche down printables or journals. For example, maybe a social media detox challenge and tracker, or make over your eating habits journal using tips from this list. Between the report and the article, you have about 11,000 plus words of content. So you could also use this as a basis for a whole book on habits. Just put the articles together into a logical sequence and then flesh it out. You could also do the same thing and turn it into a course or a challenge on habits. And you could niche down either a book or a course into something like specifically habits for health, or establishing good morning habits, or establishing an evening routine as a few examples. If you do books or low content books, you could use this as a funnel towards your books. For example, use the social media posts to lead to either the blog posts or an opt-in. That leads to either a tripwire for your product or an email sequence that warms up leads to your products, all just derived from the content given here. You can also create videos for YouTube or Facebook out of this content. For each of the 10 articles, I've put the main points on PowerPoint slides for you already. And they're on a plain background, so you can add the design of your choice that matches your branding. And if you want to throw in a few images as well, and you'll have something that doesn't look like anybody else. Then use the article outlines as your speaker notes as you create your video. I am sure you already know that dictation is a great way to write a conversational blog post, so you could actually start with the video and then get the audio transcribed, and you have an instant blog post. So because these are on a plain background, let me just quickly show you how easy it would be to customize this. I'm going to design, and then to design ideas. So you can use the kind of traditional PowerPoint backgrounds, which would apply to your entire layout in one click. Or I kind of like these design ideas. They're a little bit nicer than these templates here. So you can just click on the slide, find the idea that you like, and it will get applied to it. And let's use this one. And let's continue using that one. This one. It even knows we're talking about sleep and put a bed icon in there. Isn't that a little creepy? There. So in a few clicks now, we have got a nicely designed PowerPoint. And all of these bullet points are already animated for you, so each one will fly in on click. So next we have social media overlays. This means that I have created text and design of the words and these little squares, and put them on a transparent background. This blue is just so that it shows up right now, but these are transparent PNGs that you can place over any image in Canva, and also you can edit it in PowerPoint or Photoshop. So I have included the source files in both formats, and not too many people think about using PowerPoint for social media images, but it actually works pretty well. You can make a whole bunch at once, and when you're ready to export them, you just go to File and Save, and then you want to just scroll down and pick the JPEG, and it will ask you if you want to save all of them or just this one. And so you can decide whether you want to just do the one you're working on or just make them all and export them all in one batch. So it's really easy to change the background of this. We just go again to the Design tab, and then from there under Customize we have Format Background. And when you click on Format Background, this little sidebar will come up, and we just need to click on Picture or Texture Fill, and then you can insert a picture. So I'm just going to, for the sake of this demo, go to the online pictures that they're showing me. And let's see what we can find. We need something with a dark background if we're using white text. So let's just maybe try this apple, see what happens. And there it is. So that's how easy it is. Just customize, format background, and then select picture or text fill and insert in order to navigate to the image that you want to put behind it. So let me show you using the PNG overlays in Canva. So I've already loaded up a darker image on here, and I've also uploaded the PNG into Canva. And so I'm just going to size it a little bit and position it. And there we go, image done. So finally, in the bloggers package, we do have a set of Instagram quotes. There are 10 of them. These are completely done for you in JPEG format. When you're posting social media quotes, no one's really paying attention to where they came from. So it's all about getting some engagement on your channel. So go ahead and use these done for you Instagram quotes and save yourself a bit of time not having to worry about editing them. Now, while you absolutely can create content that you can monetize from the bloggers package, and I've already given you some suggestions for that, in my opinion, content is about attracting traffic and attention. And once you have that, then you need a way to monetize it. And printables and binders are a popular product for bloggers as well as Etsy shop owners. And there's also a large group of people now creating low content books. If that describes you, then you might find the deluxe package to be even more useful for you. It includes everything we just talked about, which you can use as content in your books to flesh it out. So it's not just lines and prompts. You can actually add some information about the subject of the journal. Plus, it gives you tools to create printables, binders, low content books, etc., or all three, because once you make a design, why not multi-purpose it into different products? And the license allows you to use it for both digital and print creations with no limit on quantity. Because these are assets for your designs rather than templates, you have the flexibility to create your own unique layouts without the tedium of creating these trackers from scratch. And if you create planners, this is particularly useful because you can take your planner spreads and just insert these trackers into it. Easy peasy. If you made all 19 of these from scratch, it would probably take 3 to 5 hours depending on how proficient you were with vector programs. Maybe longer if you're just a beginner. Hire a graphic designer at probably $30+ an hour, and the value of these is $90 to $150 on the low end. I've created 19 different types of habit trackers, both weekly habit trackers and monthly ones. And I've given you the SVG files so that if you have a vector program, you can do some editing. But if you don't have the capability to edit vectors, I've pre-made some different variations for each one. So from the 19 designs, you get 65 JPEGs, which you can use on white backgrounds, as well as 65 transparent PNG versions that you can place over other backgrounds. What I mean by variations are maybe I put numbers on a tracker for the days of the month, and then I took them off to create a blank version without numbers. This way, if this particular font doesn't really match the design of what you're working on, you can just overlay little text boxes over here in the font of your choice. So because these are in JPEG and PNG, these pre-made ones for you, you can pretty much use them in any program that you use to design. So let's take a scroll through what is included. So there's a few different varieties of circle trackers. There's one more not shown here. And these are 7-day habit trackers that you can just color in the pieces of the circle to track the days. And then some of them include the center one as day 7, and some of them do not include the center one, and it's got 7 going around. We've also got some different trackers for dot grid style. This is a 30-day and this is a 7-day. We've got some calendars in a couple of different variations, and here's some more calendars. There's both 31 and 30-day versions of these. Whoops, went too far. And then we've got some more 30-day trackers where the habit gets written down in the side here. And then also some multi-habit trackers. So these are for tracking 5 different habits across 7 days. And here it is blank without the numbers across. And then also in chart form, and this comes in a blank form as well. These two down here are a monthly habit tracker where one habit goes in this spot, and then you can mark off the days of the month. And then we've got these two big ones that are for 15 habits by 31 days in both the grid format and the bubble format. These ones down the side, these ones are a little simpler to create, so you could make these yourselves in anywhere from a couple minutes to 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes lining these little lines up is a bit finicky, but I've done them for you so that each time you save a couple minutes using one of these that's perfectly aligned and spaced, it saves you a couple minutes in your layout. So these ones have 10 squares, and this is 2 stacked on top of each other, and if you need more, you can just continue stacking them. And this is the same one in a open box instead of the half box. So these 10 trackers in both the full and half box could be used to track things like steps or water intake. We always hear about 8 glasses of water, but actually a 160-pound person at half an ounce of water per pound should actually have 80 ounces, which is 10 glasses of water. So this could be for 10 glasses of water in the full version here. If you're doing steps using the half version, you could maybe mark it off in 500 step increments. And these little circles and stars are just meant to be put next to the name of the habit or a text box or a line or however you want to design it. So there's circles and stars. There's a rounded rectangle in both the open box and the half box, and then the square version of those as well. Now, in my opinion, this particular set is probably worth the price of admission right here, because this will take you a few hours, probably by itself, to put together, unless you're very, very proficient at vector programs. So we've got a semicircle that's got 30 days and can track 5 habits and coloring in the squares. And then we've got a bigger circle of the same thing, 30 days, with lines to write in your 5 habits. And then just a variation of that. And then for this one, I took out the lines in case you wanted to create text boxes to list specific habits in these spots. These I think are fun. There's one more with a star in the middle, and I think these would be great for a printable to go along with a 30-day challenge where you can just mark it off almost like a game board. Then we've got a little collection of step trackers with some fun little designs. So this is one here that has the days of the week as well as the little shoes that have 10 spaces across that you can color in for each 1,000 steps you take. And then I give you the same one without the days of the week so that you can insert your own text along the side. And then this one here is just one blank shoe that you can put wherever you want. Maybe if you're doing a daily layout, you would put the shoe on there so that they could just do the day steps. There's also 7-day trackers in a couple different varieties with different borders and different fonts, and all of these come with days of the week or plain variations. And then we've got some footsteps here for the days of the week. There's another one that doesn't have the days included, just the blank shoes. And then this is probably my favorite step tracker of all of them, where you can just write in the number of steps next to the shoes. And then finally, we've got some water trackers. So we've got some water bottles that have 8 marks on them that can be colored in to show how much water you've had. And then I've taken water droplets and arranged them like a flower. And then we've got some just really simple droplet trackers that you can insert into daily layouts. And then just for fun, I threw in a couple extra little fun ones based on clouds and flowers that just mark off 7 days, as well as this flower tracker where you can color in the petals for each day that you do the task, and then put in your habit right in the middle here. So here's a couple real quick examples of things I did in Canva using these. So I just started with one of their pre-made templates and just made some changes, added a title and my top 3 goals, and then put in these calendar trackers and then some text along the side to say what they were. If you were selling this or giving this away, you'd probably leave this blank so that the person could actually write in their own habits along the side. And then another layout, weekly goals. I created these boxes and added the frames, added a little quote, and then inserted one of the trackers and put this little frame around it so that it matches the other text boxes. So here's another idea for creating a printable or a layout for a book. We can just add a background here in Canva. And then I have already uploaded one of the large trackers in here. And we are just going to put it here, maybe just resize it slightly so that there's not too big of a border. Center it, and then let's add some text. And we'll say making progress. And then we will change the font on that. And then we can move it up as a title, center it, and we could make the text a little bigger if we wanted to, but just for this demo, we'll leave it the way it is. And I'm just going to shrink this a little bit to get rid of some of that white area. Let's move it down. Okay. I would center this more, but just for the sake of time, you get the idea that you can just drag and drop a few little pieces in here and have a printable. So if you create printables or low content books, the full package is going to give you a lot of tools to not only create the layouts, but give you content to include in your books to help your audience and give you tools to promote them, whether you turn them into blog posts or social media posts, emails, whatever. If you've been doing this a while, you know that there's a lot of competition and it's increasing as more people discover this industry. If you are just getting started, you'll soon realize that unlike some would have you believe, this isn't brand new, and there's been people that have a few years head start on you since about 2015 or even earlier. It's still worth doing, but the ability to drive traffic to your own book listing is going to be increasingly important to give you that edge. I hope you'll take advantage of this while it's on special launch pricing. Once this launch ends, I'm going to be breaking the bundle apart into smaller packages, and so to get everything that you see here will cost you twice as much or more. Thanks for watching.